point, and then we got the two AJ fights. Well, one, and then obviously when I batter him, he won a rematch.
Who are you going to fight first, Wilder or Joshua?
Well, Wilder's got a rematch clause, so...
I saw he said about taking a payout yesterday.
Yeah, he said some newspaper reported that he wanted 10 million to step outside.
I can imagine him doing that, though, because he ain't going to want to fight you again, mate. That was like the most embarrassing moment of his life.
Yeah, for sure, but, you know, I'm not paying him no money to step aside. I'd rather take his scalp again. I'll beat him in the ring, and then that's how I'll get him out of the way. I wouldn't pay him 2 million to step aside. I'd rather give him another battering again.
Yeah, because in a way, it looks like... Yeah, in a way, it's sort of like, if you do that, he can hold that, can't he? Say, oh, he didn't want to fight me again, he paid me to get out.
Exactly, I'm going to take him out again for the third time, hopefully end of the year. And then we're going to go into 2021 for the biggest fight in boxing history between two undefeated British heavyweights, me and AJ, and we're going to battle it out for all the gold.
That's a bigger fight than Lewis Tyson, all day long.
Yeah, because we're both undefeated. Me and Wilder was big fight since the 1970s because we were both undefeated champions. And usually, like, you get these fighters and they've already been beaten, knocked out. Like Tyson was at the end of his career when he fought Lennox Lewis, and so was Lennox. Lennox didn't fight many times after that. And you know, there used to be a three-headed monster in this division. It was me, Wilder, and Joshua. And then Ruiz knocked out Joshua, burst that bubble, broke him in. And then I broke in the Bronze Bomber. And then 3 became 2, 2 became 1. And now I'm a standalone soldier.
You heard the man, people. That is the words, or are the words, from Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. And, you know, of course we know that Deontay Wilder has agreed to step aside, okay, according to sources, for $10 million if he gets the winner out of that fight. Fair play. Good idea, you know. And with that idea, you're gaining money from 2 other fighters without fighting. It's like the art of fighting without fighting. Right? So, yeah, that would be a good idea for Deontay Wilder, and for $10 million, if someone was going to pay me that, I would. However, Tyson Fury was like, dude, I'm not paying you shit. I wouldn't do it for $2 million. I'd rather beat you again and batter you again, you know. And it just shows you Tyson Fury's mindset, and it shows also his confidence that he'll do it easily again. So why would you give Deontay Wilder more money? You know, I know we're hard up to see the undisputed fight. I think that fight is way more important now than a trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder, because we've seen Deontay Wilder lose, okay? But we have the negotiations, the contract negotiations for a third fight. So there will be a third fight. Unless, you know, Kubrat Pulev decides to say, hey, I want that same amount, or I'll take $5 million or whatnot, and they can get that fight on, you know. Is a trip out. Tyson Fury said, I broke him in. I broke in Deontay Wilder. Like he did say Ruiz broke in Joshua, you know what I mean? That sounds kind of harsh, you know what I mean? Like some cell block prison talk. Cell block prison talk, pillow talk, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you know, Tyson Fury, you know, is not trying to give him $10 million. But guess what? Could you really blame him, though? Could you blame Tyson Fury for wanting to give up his hard-earned money to give to Deontay Wilder for doing nothing? You know what I mean? But if that's the case, here's the counterpunch, though. If Tyson Fury was so sure that he was going to beat Deontay Wilder in the second fight, there would be no rematch clause, because there wouldn't have to be. There would have to be one set in place. So, you know, you got to be fair about it, because, I mean, he agreed to that particular fight. These guys been trying to get that fight for the last year, okay, since late 18. They've been in negotiations to fight for the rematch. Now the rematch happens. Those contract terms were in that contract for that reason. So it is what it is. So it is like one of them things where it has to be done, because I think if he was going to break contract, he would have to pay Wilder anyway, Wilder's team, for breaking the contract, or for breaking the terms of the contract. So it's one of those things. But Tyson Fury, and even Bob Arum did say that he's not going to pay him. I'm not paying him. Who's going to pay him? So he's not going to pay him. They're going to pay Wilder to step aside. They're not going to do that. So even if he's willing to accept $10 million, people understand, people have to be willing to get it. That's just what the dollar amount is. The asking price for Deontay Wilder, Team Wilder, for that $10 million, so they can chop it up between 4 or 5 people in the camp of Wilder. You know what I mean? And so I'm thinking they wouldn't even have to split it with the trainers, would they? They ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? JD's would still get a cut because he's / manager, but as far as Mark Breland, out. Right? So, no, it is a trip that this is coming about. But now the next question is, if Kubrat Pulev agrees for the same amount, who's going to come up with the money? You know what I mean? And it shouldn't all ride on Joshua. That wouldn't be right. You know what I mean? Like, why would he pay for those guys' step-aside money? So you pay another guy to fight another guy in hopes of fighting that guy, and that guy has made $10 million. That's crazy. But again, I'm not knocking Wilder for asking, but at the end of the day, you have to realistically ask yourself, who's going to pay? Ain't nobody going to pay that money like that, I don't think, right? But if someone was to pay that, let's say Anthony Joshua paid it, theoretically. If Anthony Joshua paid Kubrat Pulev $10 million and Deontay Wilder $10 million on the behalf of Tyson Fury, which wouldn't be right, but let's say he did, that would show that he's confident that he would beat Fury to get to Wilder. Right? They would have to intertwine a contract within each other. So all 3 of these people have to sign the contract. Matter of fact, all 4. Because Kubrat Pulev has to get his cut, or has to have a say-so, because he's mandatory from the IBF, and the IBF has to clear, or he has to clear it with the IBF to let the IBF know that it's okay on his behalf. And that's a whole big if, because we know the IBF is one of the most strict sanctioning bodies, so they will strip you. So it's a toss-up, people. We don't really know what's going to happen, but we do know that Tyson Fury is not going to pay Deontay Wilder $10 million or $5 million or $2 million. Right? What's 2? What's less than 2? You know what I mean? 1. So it's one of those things where Tyson Fury's letting it be known, like, no, I beat him again. I'll beat him easily, and I'm not going to pay you to fight someone else that I will win or will fight eventually when I beat you again. So, and you look at it like Fury's. Think about how Fury is. His confidence is on high. He just beat Deontay Wilder. He knows how to beat Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder can adjust to that Kronk's fighting style. On top of that, he gets paid more money, 60% of that, right? By beating a guy you already beat and got his number more than likely. Then you fight the last fight for the most money. You know what I mean? So who do you think win, and what route would you take if you're Tyson Fury? Think about it. No, why would I pay one guy to fight another guy, which I'm going to fight him any day anyway when I beat that guy and get more money? I'm not giving him $10 million. That's making it complicated for the winner, for the undisputed lineal WBC newly crowned champion. That's difficult. But anyway, that's food for thought. That's my Counterpunch. You guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.